Morning, good morning. Hopefully you can all hear me. Let's just let this breathe for a second, let a few people join in. Make sure everything is muted. A little checklist actually, which was make sure you got Wi-Fi, make sure you got coffee, water, your notes, your script, all that sort of stuff. Obviously you don't want to get caught out, and make sure it's on brand. So hopefully we've ticked all that boxes. How we doing? All right, 8:30. So I'll just give it another 30 seconds or so, and then we can let Todd do his magic, share it, get people watching. Hopefully you've all had a good Friday, no pun intended, and not too sleepy this morning. And I'm not the only one that's going to be here. So we've got a couple. So where are we? Let's have a look. 8:30 coming up to 8:31. So I'll do the introductions and we'll make a start. So good morning, I'm Rick Notley from Romano, as you can see, and thank you for joining me on my 4N TV live. Hopefully you can hear me. It's my first 4N TV live, but I've done quite a number of foresights, so it'll be quite interesting actually to not see the sort of live engagement in the room, but obviously I'll keep an eye out for comments and things, and we'll be reading some of those out. So in fact, let's just make sure you can all see that and hear me. So first things first, we're going to start the 40 words round. So instead of the normal 40 seconds that you do at a 4N meeting, can you send me up to 40 words as a Facebook comment on this live? This can be a brief pitch about you or your business, which everybody that's tuned in will obviously be able to see. I'm not going to read them all out, but I will try and pick out a few. Here we go, they start sort of pinging up now. Top tip actually, which I've seen from a few other people that have done this, is to save it in your notes or have it somewhere on a notepad or something that you can just copy and paste straight in. And then you can just sort of drop it in there and start to engage with some of the others. So yeah, good little tip. So whilst a few of these start coming through, I'm going to just do my normal one, which is I'm Rick from Romano, specialise in all things print and branding. Basically, I love putting your logo on lots of things, and that's as simple as it needs to be, really. Normally, in a 4M meeting, I would sort of say, you should have a one-to-one with me because I'll give you loads of free stuff, but obviously I can't virtually give it you. So I'll tell you what, best 40 words, I will post some free Romano goodies out, so then it's pretty much the same. So, okay, cool, we've got a couple. So obviously Todd knows what he's doing, so he's first. Howdy, my name is Todd and I'm Bob's keeper. She's nearly 2 and helping me with live streaming. Thank you, Todd. Martin the Warrior Warrilow, since suffering life-changing stroke in December 2013, I scare people by educating them about the dangers of stress and growing percentage of working age people having strokes. Thank you, Martin. Alison Mead. I'm Alison, the singing sage lady. I help business owners and unconfident bookkeepers to be better at bookkeeping. If you want to do your own bookkeeping and aren't sure what you should be doing, then arrange a session with me. So we've got a couple more coming through this. So the lovely Diane, who is a former Scotland Yard fingerprint expert in CSI, delivers CSI themed events for corporate team builds and teach in schools with her business Forensic Minds, and she's lovely. So let's just see if we've got a few more coming through. Here we go. Adam is the geocaching guy. I run a niche magazine about worldwide treasure hunt. I also corporate team building events, and I have a mission to get people outdoors and having fun. So nice one, Adam. Morning, Hayley. Hayley's a canine massage therapist, reducing pain and suffering in dogs. Didn't know that was a thing, but well done you. Let's see if we've got a couple more. We've got 14 people here, so we haven't had 40 seconds, so that means that get them prepped for next time, people. It's important actually, it's something I'm going to sort of touch on in the foresight, but in the same way of having that 40 words prepped, you want your 40 seconds prepared for when you go networking, because you don't want to stand up in a fluster and think, obviously you know who you are and what your business is, but you want to be able to get straight into why someone should have a one-to-one with you. That's the main sort of aim of that, is to give people a reason to want to find out more about you, see if they can potentially do some business, or if not, just find out a little bit more and see if there's a chance to work together down the line. but it's key in all things that things that you can prep, you might as well, because there's lots you can't prepare for. So there's the top tip. How are we doing? A couple more minutes. So I've got Caroline from the Letting People. We help you let go of property, let or sales, to give you more time and less legal fuss. And some nice house emojis, so she's nicely on brand with those, which is obviously an important thing to be. So yeah, right, my own personal checklist just to make sure I've got a coffee, which is on brand, obviously. How are we doing? So a couple more minutes for people to join. What I will do is I'll introduce the foresight now, just so that we can keep to time. You can tell I've been on a 4N team because keeping to time and the schedule is obviously key. So it says now, introduce your foresight. So it's now time for my foresight, which is just like 4M meetings. It's not a sales pitch, but an insight into a specialist field or an experience or perhaps an interesting area of my life. So my foresight is titled Exhibition and Sales Top Tips. Although I can't see you today, it'd be great to know that you're watching, so please drop a note or a comment on this feed. Keep hitting the likes, the emoji buttons, engage with it basically, share it if you like, and then we can obviously hopefully reach more people. I've got quite a lot to get through, so unlike at a foresight at a meeting where I say to people try and take some notes of what's relevant, obviously you've got the beauty of being able to replay this later, which I'll let Todd and the team do their wizardry to make sure that happens. So my foresight, exhibition and sales tips. I have done 200 plus trade shows, exhibitions, excuse me, which means that you pick up a few things. It's something that is daunting to begin with, so this is really geared at trying to give you some tips. And here's the thing, if you're thinking, well, I'm not going to exhibit my business, I'm not sure how this is relevant. It's relevant because it doesn't really matter whether you're putting on an event, it doesn't matter whether you're trying to attract people to your social media page or your website, or even just to be a better networker. There's something relevant that you can take from this to apply to your business. I geared it towards exhibitions because that's what I know and love, but there's some good tips in here. So I'm going to get straight into it because there's a lot to do. So I've got my notes all prepped. First one here, if you are going to exhibit, you're going to a trade show, perhaps you've got all your stuff prepped and planned, it's packed in the car, that sort of thing. Here's a mistake a lot of people will make. They will get to the event, they'll get set up, and then they'll wonder why nobody's coming to see them. And they've missed a trick, and it's something that obviously foreign advocates solve in terms of you need to promote that you're going in the same that you need to promote your foresights and your meetings, everything. There's so much you can do to get your audience, or rather who you want to see, your ideal customer, in that room. Because it's not salesy, you're offering them some extra value in inviting them to the event. Twitter's a great one for this. It's my personal favourite. Most events will put on a Twitter hashtag. TBNS, obviously the sort of 4N related ones obviously do that. And it's something that you can go on, you can track, engage with the other exhibitors, because people will start talking early to say, I'm going to go to TBNS 19. You can track that hashtag, there's stuff that you can do there. But engage with the other exhibitors, engage with the people that are talking, say that you're going to be there. Much like the 40 seconds or the 40 words, give people a reason to come and see you. Now, there's so much you can do on that front, but make the event organisers your friends as well. There'll be lots of things. They want a busy event, you want a busy event, everybody wants it to be a success. So the more you can do with them to sort of help promote the event and maybe bring in a new audience. My audience and followers is going to be different to all of yours and the events themselves. It's so key to just give people a reason to come along. So Twitter's a great one for that because you can engage, pops up a notification, and I love it. Obviously do all the normal broadcast stuff, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube if that's your thing. Put out content, and not just the week before, plenty of time before to say that you're going and why. It's a good thing on LinkedIn as well, because obviously you can go on LinkedIn and specifically target your ideal customer effectively. So invite them along. Say, look, I know we haven't had a chance to meet, or perhaps the cold calling aspect hasn't worked well. There's an event going on next month. There's loads of businesses there. There's some great networking. There's some great other businesses in the room. I'd love it if you could come along and see us, and obviously the benefit if you come in, we can get 10 minutes and then you can possibly promote your own business as well. So you're giving them a reason other than just, I want to sell to you to come to that event. So that's really the big one, that's the big hitter, and it falls in nicely with the next one, which is to plan ahead. 3 months is when you should be thinking of what you need to do, take for your stands, and that 3 months will fly by. In what I do, the nature of what I do, it can become very last minute, and those sort of things can be avoided. So it's a lot less stressful, just like this sort of thing. You know, the earlier you can get set up and prepped and you're ready, the better the event's going to go. So honestly, planning ahead, because that clock will tick down fast, and that's something that you definitely want to get ahead of. Because you just why have the stress? There's obviously going to be last minute things that crop up, but at least you're not going to be in a sort of stressful position to get to it. So next one is engage and get involved. It's okay. So the phone at an exhibition is your worst enemy. Put it away. I don't care if it's face down or in your pocket. If it's there, it's a temptation. Put it in a bag, zip it up. Check it intermittently if you need to. Arrange with your colleagues to sort of tag team it so that one of you might take 5 minutes off to check calls, emails, whatever you need to. But there is nothing worth coming to an exhibition stand and then seeing someone like this. You know, how dull would this be for you guys to watch if I was just there like this the whole time, scrolling through? It's not engaging. You know, eyes up, smile, say hello, ask them about the business, get a conversation going. I find it amazing. I've done so many, and I see people, and you do get quiet spots in exhibitions, and then what the temptation is, people go, oh, I'll just check my emails. I'll flip the laptop open, do a few emails. So then you're like this, tapping away. Sorry if that's loud, actually. Doesn't look great. I mean, if you want to go to work, go back to the office. You know, there are potentially a room full of people there that are all in the same boat as you. They've all paid money to go there. They all want to sort of promote their business. For me, if nobody turned up to an exhibition, there's still a room full of people that are looking to do more business. So don't exclude those other exhibitors. Make yourself busy, take photos of your stand, speak to the hotel, the organisers, whatever you do, don't just start doing work. That's something in the planning stages that you should allow the time for the follow-ups and everything else once you get back to that office. But yeah, as Todd said, obviously the phone is a great asset. You need it out there to take photos and to tweet and things, but just don't get caught into the scrolling mentality, is what I mean. So next one I've got is offer something for free. It's a way of attracting people to come to your stand. Now, obviously in 4M we've got a whole host of businesses, so it's not always as straightforward, but there's always something you can do, and it might even just be free information, some free value in the form of a sort of PDF. So I often give out, obviously freebies, that's what I do, but the PDF of this kind of foresight, which is the sort of 10 tips on how to exhibit. And if anybody wants it, hit me a message or pop me an email, and I'll happily send it you sort of in bulleted form. You know, it just gives people a reason to come up and engage. You know, obviously you can do the things like business cards in a bowl for sort of champagne and stuff. I feel like that is a touch old hat now. I think people can get a bit more creative. You see games on stands now, you know, sort of giving people reason to sort of come and engage and have a go at something. But if you can give some of it away for free, you're already in that exchange of, look, you come and see me, I'll give you something. And it's that sort of reciprocal nature. Okay, next one. How are we doing for time? 44. So we're going to rattle through. The next one is to follow up, and you know this is important in networking as much as it is exhibiting. Why bother spending that money? Why bother getting kit, whatever it is, to take on the day, and they're not following up? You know, they are warm leads. They are people that are engaged. They're people that have shown an interest in your product, your service, or you. The least you can do is drop a follow-up, and I say the same with regards to sort of one-to-ones in 4N, and even those that you don't get to have a one-to-one with. I mean, it's mental, absolutely mental that you wouldn't sort of follow up. even just to sort of keep that momentum and say, hey, look, I know there was nothing immediately, but nice to meet you. We'd love to do something down the line. Mind if I keep in touch? Mind if I send you some content? Todd's the man to speak to when it comes to sort of the email marketing and how you can use that. But everything else I say today is pointless if you don't bother following up. So yeah, if I can't sort of stress that enough, do that. Okay, the next one, in terms of making the most of your sort of exhibition stand, is grab all the photos, any assets that you can. Ask other stand holders to get photos. If you're on your own, and I get it, because sometimes you're not going to have the support of either a member of staff or friend or family that can help you. Ask some of the other stand members to take a photo of you whilst talking to other sort of delegates and visitors. The reason for that is you get a photo of you in action on your stand, all branded up, hopefully, doing your thing. Now, that's powerful for social media. It looks the part because it shows that you've been there. It also looks like you're busy, so it helps to give a little bit of credibility and that people are visiting you and talking to you. But also those moments go very quickly, and I speak to a lot of people at the sort of packing up stage. Oh, do you know, I've been so busy, I've not had a chance to get any photos today. So the two stands either side of you, they're your friends. Okay, so I haven't got this written down, but I just thought about it actually now as I go to take a sip of coffee. The coffee, the tea. If you're on your stand, even the toilet break, you can't leave your stand unattended. If you're like me, you might take a MacBook or other laptops are available, but you might have stuff on there that you don't want to leave unattended. You also don't want to miss an opportunity. So those either side of you make your little sort of exhibition community, if you like, so that if you go and get a coffee, you grab them one, and just say, do you mind looking after that? I suppose it's like an old market stall trader sort of thing, like EastEnders mind the stall. It's that type of thing, because it's a long day if you're not getting a coffee. Sometimes to just sort of exercise your legs, a bit of fresh air. So it's really important that you treat those around you as your community, because they will help you when you need to. But obviously, if nothing else, just get a photo. So we're sort of heading into now the more sort of sales tips, things that sort of picked up over the years that I find sort of useful. The first one is to be your customer, or to look at your business or your stand through the eyes of your customer. I see so many people setting up an exhibition stand from behind the table, and I sort of think, well, no one looks at it like that apart from you, so you need to get in front of it. You need to go round it as if you'd be amazed how different the table looks when you're on that side. You get it wrong, it could look like a crappy sort of car boot table. So it's really important that you look at it through the eyes of your customer, because you're not selling to you, you're not trying to promote you, know what you do. I can't sort of stress that enough. And that goes for online, that goes for everything about your business. Just have a look at it through the eyes of your customer. So we've got a thing in the office here. Obviously I'm on my own today, but and I don't mean this offensively, but treat people as idiots and treat people as aliens. And it's, can they pass the test? And it's, or rather, does the content or does the stand or does the product pass the test? Is it obvious what you're there to do? Is it obvious what you're promoting? Is it obvious what you're sort of trying to get across? And it's really key that you look at it through the eyes of your customer, because perception is everything. So it can be really powerful. The next one from a sort of sales and sort of content sort of thing is tell your story, document the day. If you can video it, brilliant. Obviously, if that means keeping your phone out, then you can do, but do it on a tripod or get someone involved to do that. But you've got photos, you've got all the other stand holders, and then that should be, people sort of struggle sometimes with what to write or what to put on social media. Don't, just document, just sort of tell people what you're doing. And that goes for telling your story. So if it was an early get up, if it was a coffee, McDonald's breakfast on the way, whatever it is, just document it. People like to see that sort of fly on the wall, behind the scenes, and sort of get a feel for the stress, if you like, that you've had on that day. But then they like to see the wins after. You've kind of earned the right in telling your story to then ask your audience to engage or possibly take a look at something, maybe even buy something. So yeah, tell your story. This is something that I find incredible that more people don't do, actually. The next one, ask for the business. I mean, I'm just going to ask for the business. You know, you're there. We can be typically British sometimes and be a bit. I'm not sure if people feel it like it's impolite or things. So ask for the business or ask for the help. You know, there's not always going to be an opportunity to do business, but it might be that you can help one another. And I think that's so crucial. You get all this work and all this facade and you know, all the marketing, all the effort, all the networking, and you don't ask for the business. You know, I'm not saying it's closing and things like that, but it's a massive thing. Don't be afraid to sort of do it, even if it's a softer sort of like, okay, cool. How can we work together, or what can I do to help you? Is there anyone I can introduce you to, or ideal world? What would be the best things to happen as a result of us meeting today? If you're not massively confident, and I get it, you know, it takes a few sort of no's to sort of get thick skin and not worry about that sort of thing. You can do it in the follow-up. You know, really nice to meet you. Really enjoyed having a sort of chat. Had a think on the drive back actually that I meant to ask you who you use for blah blah blah, or have you ever considered? But just don't leave it. It's part of the follow-up. Okay, how are we doing? We've got a few more minutes, so gonna rattle through. I've got a few bonus ones if we've got time. Next one is be remembered and be consistent. Give people a reason to remember you. That might be free stuff, it might have been a conversation, it might have been a bit of business, but it's really important to be consistent, and that's online, offline. That's why it's important that you network regularly. You don't have to go to the extremes. Obviously, when Forehand did the competition to do with who was going to do the most networking meetings, 23, 24 networking meetings in a month is a lot. That's sort of over consistent, but I'll tell you what, it's good for business, I'm not going to lie. Definitely accelerate things. So the more you do, I find the sweet spot from a networking point of view is 1 to 2 a week, and I tend to have a core 1 or 2 groups that I go to, and then I sort of mix up and sort of try and drop around other places in the network, and I certainly use my passport. Yeah, anywhere that I go, it's often a case of, right, let's just check what's nearby, see if there's a chance to sort of drop into one. But the consistency is key, online and offline. Be who you are offline, the same as you are online, and vice versa. Otherwise, you know, there's some people that you'll only engage with in an online fashion for such a long time. Then you meet them at a networking event, and it's like, oh, nice to meet you. Sort of, we've never met in real life, but you're not the same because you're sort of something else online to what you are offline. So consistency is key. Honestly, it really is. Something else as well, just a real easy one. Be nice, smile. There's no way to measure the return on investment on being happy and a smile, especially on a trade stand. There are some grumpy people, and he said something else early in the mornings at exhibitions. Doesn't cost anything, but honestly, that's the best way you're going to get into a conversation, if you just sort of drop people a smile. How are we doing? Right, a couple of little extra ones which I sort of tried to bring in to my business activities and what I do from a sort of sales point of view. I said about the follow-ups. Follow up on social media as well. Follow people who you spoke to. Go find them on Twitter, Instagram, whatever the platform, LinkedIn, connect. You've got the card, you've got the phone, you've got the email. Get connected on social. It's such a light way to keep in touch. Honestly, it's really important that you sort of do that. I loved something that Todd put out the other day actually, which was about that. I think it was 1% of people post daily on LinkedIn, but only 1% of people post daily on LinkedIn, but more than 50% of people check it daily. So it's whether you broadcast something, put something out there. Don't just be the follower and the consumer. You might as well, if you're going to go on the platform, at least benefit from it. So that's a great point, actually. You know, sort of just put something out there. It's important. Tell your story. Tell people what you've been up to today. Tell people that you've been up early watching this. Share it if you like. But yeah, the other really interesting thing actually, which you can do, which always seems to return in business, almost by accident, is to ask your audience relevant questions. So if you've got a new product or a service, or I don't know, you just launched a new website, or you've got a logo, or anything you want feedback on, just ask. You know, what do you prefer? Do you prefer that banner or that banner? Simple as that. Black, white, left, right. You know, it's that sort of, who are you to decide? A bit like going the other side of the table at the exhibition. Who are you to decide what's the best product or the best way to market something? They're a great bunch of people in the 4N community. Super supportive. If you drop something in there saying, look, I've got a new product that I'm trying to market or a new service I'm not sure how to describe, drop it in there. I did an example with power banks yesterday because people call them all sorts of things. So it's really useful and is a nice way to get some feedback, the market research, if you like, on your business. Which is why, yeah, he likes the black one too. Right, so that's pretty much it. I know it's been a sort of rattle through. I'm sorry it's been fast. Hopefully you can wind it back. Hopefully there's one, maybe two things that you sort of think, yeah, I should do that, or I know that and I'm not doing it, and this is the prompt just to remind you to do it more. That alone would make it sort of worthwhile getting up in a little bit of an early morning. So that's it. Says here, time's up. Thank you for watching my foresight. It's great to see all the comments coming in. What I will do is I'll go back through and reply to any, as long as they're all nice and positive, not too abusive. I'll have a look at and reply to those. Same time next week, 8:30 on Saturday the 27th. You can join Taz Thornton. I mean, that'll always be awesome. Her foresight is titled, I Can Live in a World of I Can't. So make sure you tune into that. Love Taz, she's always such a great speaker, so yeah, make sure you tune into that. So a couple of things to sort of just let you know and wrap up. We've got even more Facebook Live stuff coming up in the 4 Networking Passports group on Facebook. So Mondays 12 till 12:30, you'll find the regular 4 Development Live video presentations providing some great tips on how to develop your networking skills. They're really good actually, and you can obviously go back and look at them. So anybody that's sort of new to sort of networking or wants to get a bit more from it, check that out obviously. And you can obviously join 4N's network leader Michael Nagels on Friday at 4 PM for the weekly wrap up. He'll have a mix of news, announcements and waffling nonsense, that's definite, and you won't want to miss that. Make sure you get some sort of questions over to sort of Todd and Michael for that. The more difficult the better, it's always nice to see them squirm. If you would like the opportunity to present an episode like this of 4N TV Live, then please contact your 4N regional leader. It's free to take part and it's open to all 4N Passport members. Slots are already booked up quite far ahead, so get your request in now. 4N TV Live episode will continue to be available, it says here, anytime, so please share it, add more comments, and I'll obviously get notified, so I'll happily sort of drop in and answer anything that you want to know. Basically, if you think of anything, drop me a line personally, that's fine. That's it from me. I hope you've enjoyed today's 4N TV Live and have a great bank holiday weekend. We've got an extra one this week, and feel free to continue networking right on the 4N Facebook community. And just on that, I would say get involved with the 4N community. Make sure again you're in there, being consistent, commenting, helping, asking questions, getting involved. Because there's great people in there, and there's obviously great business and things to be had as well. And that's it from me. So I think I'm pretty much on time. So I'm gonna finish my coffee. Say thank you very much, and hope you have a lovely Romano day. So thanks guys, see you soon.